Okay, so now I want to set and create a template within formscanner. So now that I've scanned my images, and if I had a PDF, I converted them all to JPEGs. And so now in my directory, I have a bunch of these images. So for example, here, we can look at these images. This is my image 1, image 2, image 3. All right, these are just some ones that we've done. I want to notice something about image 1 is that it has 2 responses for numbers 1 and 2. So we'll be able to deal with that, whether we want multiple choices allowed or multiple choices rejected, or we just take the first of the multiple choices. All right, so let's open up formscanner. And then we go to template. We create template from image. And then we find our template. I have a link here. And then it asks us how many questions. So we're going to add a field, and we'll enter the number of questions. There are 15 questions in this, and each question has 5 responses. And then we have 2 options up here. Oh, by the way, I can also do questions by rows or questions by columns. Now, I do all of my questions by rows, but if you wish to have your options in a column, you can do that as well. All right, so we're going to do questions by rows. And then here, clicking this will allow multiple choice answers, and clicking this will ignore multiple responses. So if I click the top of those, it will allow 2 answers or more answers, 3, 4, 5, however many, if I click this option. But if I click this one, it will ignore those completely. If I click neither, it will just choose the first one that's given in a line. So you need to think about what you want to do with that, whether you want to have multiple choices, you want to completely ignore multiple responses, or just take the first marked one. So I'm going to have multiple choice. And then I confirm that. Now, I'm going to put a red dot on this first response. So I do that by taking my mouse cursor and I depress my index finger, and it creates a red dot, and then I can drag it around. Now, if I release it, it will stay where it is. So I'm going to release my finger when it goes just over the A, so I center it best I can right there. And then I go down and I do the same thing for the last option of the last question. Okay. Now, it has positions for all these questions, and then it also has the responses A through E up here at the top. Look there. It's not perfect because the photocopier does some rotation, so it's not an exact copy. It's rotated slightly, less than, just a tiny little bit. But it's good enough. So I just confirm. Notice that these are all multiple choice, but also notice that I can deselect that if I wish. Well, I think that I can. No, I can't. So anyway, those are, I want to add another field. Now here I'm going to deselect the multiple choice because this is going to be for the ID field. There are going to be 8 questions because there are 8 digits in the ID number, and each has 10 possible responses. To press enter, and then I hit confirm. And just like I did before, except now over in the ID field, I will press my index finger on the mouse, and then I can move that red dot around until I center it on the 0. And then I move down. I do a similar thing here. I center it on the 9. And there I go. I have each position marked here. Now, these have numeric answers instead of alphabetical, so I'm going to rename these. The first is 0. I backspace 1, and then I tab backspace 2, tab backspace 3, tab backspace 4, tab backspace 5, tab backspace 6. Or if I don't want to tab over, I can click on them. Backspace 7, backspace 8, and then the last one, the last column, backspace 9. Okay. So that gives the positions for each of the ID numbers. And then I confirm, and now everything's okay. So I save it. I'm going to save this as image 01 multiple choice because I allowed multiple choice in that one. Okay, and that's the end. Now that template you can reuse. If you reuse the same form over and over again, you can just use the same template. So maybe you'll want to just create a template for a form with, say, 50 questions, and then just reuse that template. I really prefer to have an individual template. It only takes a couple of minutes once you get the hang of it. But that's the end for creating the template.